to another edition of the Soft Dump in the Corner podcast, presented to you by, as always, by the greatest sports company in media's history in the Toronto region, North Six Sports, baby. Whew, you can tell I'm fired up. I know you guys are fired up listening, but you know
Go
who else is fired
Patriots!
up? And there he is in the background. He's ready to rumble. He's ready to tumble. He's got a lot to say from the top rope, baby, Mr. Luke Pendlebury. Everybody bring it in.
What is going on, everybody? Round 2 is right around the corner. Let's go, baby. I'm so excited.
Take it away. Give me what like, okay, so here's the thing. We're gonna do a full recap of East and then we'll do West or West and then East. Why don't we'll save the best for last, as you Leaf fans would like for me. Because you know what? I'm gonna show some love to the Leafs this episode. I think I gave them a little bit of a hard time, but you know what? We're going to get into that, but we're going to save that one for last. Why don't we do that? Why don't we do that last? So, hey, how about this? What we're going to do here is we're going to start with the West, okay? And why don't we say, kind of go over what we saw, what we thought, but why don't I just kind of give a quick little heads down, and then we'll give you the option to go over it.
Baby.
So, to be very honest with you, I didn't find there were too many series specifically in the Western Conference that were a letdown, man. If anything, I really believe the West over the East was far more entertaining hockey as a whole. Of course, we had 2 Game 7s between Winnipeg, St. Louis, and between Dallas and Colorado. We had Edmonton and LA and Vegas and Minnesota. So quick recaps of those series. No disrespect to the other teams. I'll try and pick them in terms of maybe getting them through quick and then maybe dable on to what we kind of want to drive in home here. Certainly leaving enough time for our 2 specific series that we'd like to focus in on. Without further ado here, let's do Vegas, Minnesota first round here. So Vegas takes that one 4-2. They win on the road against Minnesota. I think the Minnesota dude put up a lot better fight than a lot of people gave them credit for.
100%.
I really do think that they showed a lot of their stripes in the next coming years in terms of what they have to bring. Young decor, Faber's going to be strong. Kaprizov is a stud. He's proven that.
Matt Boldy.
Is also, I love that too. Marco Rossi, Joel Eriksson, Eck. Like, they got a lot of really good players. And again, you listen to me over the last 20 some odd podcasts, and I sit here and I harp on, hey, wait till they get that extra money. Wait till they get that extra money. Wait till they have a few years of experience and they go out and they get a huge splash. But hey, this is going to be more so about Vegas. Kudos to Vegas on their win here. But I just got a couple of key points here. Maybe I'll go through them. You kind of tackle whatever you feel is here. So I kind of wrote down here that they definitely earn the respect. I touched on that there. I think that they're a sneaky contender this year. It obviously didn't work out that way. Those games were very, very tight. So in terms of goals as a whole, I broke down every series in terms of kind of basic stats, top end stats. 19 goals for Minnesota, 18 Vegas. Minnesota scored actually 1 more goal. Wow. 17 goals against on goalies each side. So that just goes to show, man, 5-on-5. This was very, very much a very close series, and it looked like that watching the games. Minnesota was 10 games above 500 away this year, only 5 games above 500 at home. Guess who was at home at Game 6? Minnesota. They lost at home in Game 6, right? So take that away there. I wanted to even just leave you with this too. Leading scorer of the series, Kirill Kaprizov, 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points in 6 games. Looked like a stud. Wow. And I will point out too, for every series as well, the special teams. Vegas, 27.8% on the power play and 76.9% on the PK. It's 104.7% total. Why is that important, you ask? You're going to have to stick around until the end when we talk about why that's important. So go ahead and take a kind of a peek at what's your idea of, so like, holy fuck, spit it out. Give me your opinion on the series, Luke.
That's all, folks. No, it was a good series overall. Like you mentioned, I think a lot of people just doubted Minnesota from the beginning. We all know Vegas is strong, top end to bottom. They got a solid goaltending and reliable with Aiden Hill, solid goalie, and then you got your number 1 center in Jack Eichel. which you can't really argue. One of the best players in the league. You could argue maybe top 10. He just does everything so well. And then you look at their decor; they're so goddamn big. You got Petrangelo, you got Shea Theodore, you got Noah Hannafin. I keep forgetting about Noah Hannafin being on that team. And then top to bottom on their center lines, you got Jack Eichel, Tommy Hurdle. You've got William Karlsson. You got Nicholas Waugh. Like, it is a tough team to play against, and obviously they're the favorites going into the series. But nonetheless, Minnesota, like you said, they got some cap space clearing up shortly. They should make a big push because overall, I thought they did a lot more than I think a lot of people expected. And you can build around guys like Brock Faber and Kaprizov, and Matt Boldy had a fantastic playoff run. So kudos to them, and a big honor to the Flower playing his last game. He's done. So what a career that guy's had. So it was a good series overall. I didn't expect much to it, but it was pretty good.
Yeah, and you know what? Even to bookmark that idea, how neat of it. Yeah, just kind of sidetrack conversation on this one. The World Hockey Championships. How awesome is it that Marc-Andre Fleury is deciding to play?
Yeah, how sick is that? It's
Sorry,
wicked.
I'm just super quick, just real quick. Are you catching me full time here? Are we good? You still with me?
Yeah, we're good. Something just like connected weird, but I think we're okay.
Okay, we're gonna just keep rocking here. But yeah, dude. So Fleury joining that, obviously super cool, man. Going to play back with Fleury, playing with McKinnon, that's really cool. So I think
that team looks sick. Yeah,
just something to kind of throw out there. But back to it, question wise, is Kirill Kaprizov now top 10 player in the league for you?
Forward or overall?
Overall.
Yeah, he's probably hovering that 9-10 spot. If he had a full healthy year this year, that probably would maybe change my dynamics on like where I'd put him. It's hard to say, but he had a really good year and he's got a good team around him. So yeah, he might be filling around that 10, 11, 12 spot for me right now.
Just a floater.
Just
a floater. It's one of those ideas that I just wanted to throw out there. Hey, that guy next year, sneaky underrated pick for Art Ross. Just saying.
Yeah.
You look at what he did when he came back in. But anyways, moving on to the next series. Let's do this one. Let's do Edmonton and LA. Because I certainly think the other two series I deserve that attention. So again, here we go again. McDavid and Draisaitl, just absolute mutants going out there and doing their thing. I think they were McDavid was 11 points in 6 games. Draisaitl was 10 points in 6 games. Again, man, like I think it's time that we truly start to look at these guys and say they're not just normal star players. They are absolutely elite, all-star, game-changing players that show up continuously, time after time after time in the playoffs when it matters most. Proving that again this year. You know what else Edmonton is proving? That I don't think they made the right decision on their goaltending, keeping Mr. Stuart Skinner so comfortable in that crease. Thank you, Calvin Pickard, for keeping us in the playoff race, because quite honestly, if it wasn't for him, we'd be golfing right now. I truly believe LA deserved better. They were the better team. Certainly through 3 games, I thought. Edmonton turned it around drastically and looked more like the contender that they were. But same thing here. So I'm going to give you the numbers recap. So LA scored 24 goals. And don't forget, they scored 12 goals in the first 2 games. 27 goals scored for Edmonton. Okay, so 23 goals were scored against Kemper, so only 1 empty netter. 24 goals were scored against Edmonton goalies, 3 empty netters. 11 goals scored against Skinner in 2 games. Not good goaltending. Here's another one for you. The Oilers ended up winning the series. Leading scorer was McDavid, as I said, 2 goals, 1 assist, 11 points, again, in 6 games.
Right.
Mutant, almost 2 points a game in playoffs, again, shocker. Here we go here, though. Oilers, 38.5% on the power play, 60% on the PK.
Yikes.
60% on the PK, 98.5% total in special teams percentage points. If you heard the first one, you're starting to figure out where I'm going with this. Do you really believe the Oilers? Do you believe any? They were 16th out of 16 teams in the playoffs thus far in round one in PK percentage. You raise that up to their average
Yeah.
closer to 75, 80 even. You're winning a lot more games. So that's where
No
I'm going with
kidding.
that. So give me your thoughts on the series.
Yeah.
Again, truthfully, my perspective, LA was the better team. They deserved that win wholeheartedly.
Yep.
But you look at what Edmonton did in terms of McDavid and Draisaitl saying, sorry, but we ain't losing. Sorry that's four in a row, but
Yeah.
you guys got the short end of the stick catching us again.
Yeah, I know. Like you said, you got Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, two of the best players in the world. They're always going to find a way to get it done. And at the end of the day, yeah, a lot of people may have doubted being down 2-0 in the series. Obviously, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us, I think we're kind of like, is this time for LA to finally get it done after 4 straight years? You'd think, geez, they got to be due sooner or later, especially with the team that LA has. Like, they got a very strong team led by Kopitar, who's been there forever. Same with Drew Doughty. You got a young up and coming Kempe, sick flow, sick skater.
I want Kempe on the Oilers.
Oh yeah, he's sick. And then you got guys who are up and coming who's breaking out. Or Quinton Byfield, he looks so good out there, finding ways to get noticed, finding ways to be relevant on the team, and like it's paid off. It showed all season long. So obviously, I'm happy to see the Oilers win. It's nice to see them move on. They're gonna have quite the test. We'll get down that later, but no, it was a well fought series back for the Oilers after being down 2, and I'm glad they could find a way to get it done.
Yeah, dude, and even too, I will say, like, there's no excuses for injuries.
Yeah.
There really isn't. LA was pretty lucky to stay pretty healthy for those 6 games. Truthfully, Edmonton, man, like they don't have Matthias Ekholm right now. Like, I know a lot of people are looking and they're like, oh, well, like, what does Ekholm do? What does Ekholm do? And it's not a sexy name. I bet you if you go ask the people in the league, the NHL, the coaches, the teams, or whatever, when they play the Oilers, Ekholm is absolutely one of their biggest concerns on the defensive end. He is so underrated, man. I'm not sitting here saying like he's a, Victor Hedman or a Cale Makar or, whatever like that. Like he is not, but he is like very much a Roman Yossi style or just like a Shea Weber style at the time. Very comparable, like just a shut down D man, reliable dude who can do a lot of things such as play 25 plus minutes a night consistently on power play and PK if needed. Bouchard dominates the PK. We know that. But just to be able to match up against those number ones and play that PK, if the Ekholm was in that first series, I'll put my left nut that the Oilers don't finish at a 60% PK rate. No chance. Point being, Ekholm, you take number one defenseman off of any team, you are significantly worse. The fact that the Oilers were still able to do so, they had a lot of injuries. Evander Kane had only played his first game a week ago. You look at all the injuries added up. I was really proud of the boys doing it. They went down 0-2, dude. And I was saying, hey, we got screwed over at a poor timing for injuries, and we're done. They battled through it, and I'm super pumped. And the kid is going to Edmonton, baby. Game 4.
Baby. That's so
N6
sick.
Sports Live in the seats. We're going to be in the seats, baby. Boots
That's
on the
sick.
fucking ground. I am so fired up. I've never been to Edmonton, never seen the arena, never been to an Oilers playoff game. Sam pumped up.
How long are you going for?
Sorry?
How long are you going for?
I'm only going for 2 days.
That's
I'm
all
only
right.
going to be there for basically 3 full days, if you will.
Yep.
But I was pissed when I didn't go for the playoff run last year. I really did try to go to, Stanley Cup final games. I really, really did. It was pretty wild timing wise last year, and I kicked myself. So we're going. Hope they win. If they don't win, I get to say that I did it. And I know very well that I'm so excited for the atmosphere. When they sing "Oh Canada" and I hear "Let's Go Oilers," like You can hear it in a TV differently. You know what I mean? I'll give
Yep.
credit. Hey, when the ACC, when Scotiabank is bumping and you can hear it through the TV, and I know I've seen a playoff game there live and heard it. There's nothing like playoffs
Oh, it's
games
sick.
live, man. And
Yeah.
just I got such a I'm just got big old tickle in my balls right now talking about this. I'm so fired up, bro. I'm so fired up. Anyways, let's move on from Edmonton because you know me, I can talk about them all fucking day. But again, we got 2 game 7s to go over, and then we still got the East. For the respect of the listeners here, as our quick recap continues, why don't we go over? We'll do home Canada last here. Why don't we do Dallas wins 4-3 over Colorado? Holy shnikes! What the hell happened in this series, bro? This was so exciting. So,
Yeah.
hockey fans' perspective, what a joy. What an absolute joy. It's unfortunate we had to see it in the first round. I would have loved to see a second or third round matchup, but I want you like just give me like you take this one away. This one's all you. I know we were chatting back and forth about it, but like
Yeah.
this one's you. Take this one away.
Man, this was a juggernaut versus juggernaut kind of series, and I think a lot of people could really argue that this series should have been more of a second or third round matchup. Um, like it's unbelievable. You're getting guys. This is Ranton's playing his old team as a storyline, and questions of the goaltenders between Ottinger and Blackwood. You're getting McKinnon and McCarr. Like it's just so there's so much firepower in this series where everyone was just so excited to see. And I think a lot of people probably would have said like, "Hey, this is probably going to go to 7 games because these two teams are so good. They're just going to beat the shit of each other all series long, and eventually going to find a winner." Um, Kudos to Dallas with not even having Miro Heiskanen in the lineup and Jason Robertson in the lineup and finding ways to win hockey games is incredible because you need everything within the kitchen sink to beat the Colorado Avalanche, who have the experience to win the Stanley Cup. So it was exciting. I had Dallas in the series in my bracket. Obviously excited to see them kind of like pull through. I'm a big McKinnon fan and McCarr fan. So it does suck to see them go. But what a well fought series between both sides. And I'm interested to see how far Dallas can go because I think a lot of people would say, and no one would even blink an eye if you picked either of those two teams to win the Stanley Cup and they were a first round matchup. So a great series, well fought off, and kudos to both teams because it was very entertaining, I'll tell you.
Yeah, 100%. And when you were talking there, I guess like I was just thinking of like what would have been better for the league? Do you think Colorado getting through would have been better for the league in the sense of marketable players, or or are we going to look at this storyline? Let's call it the Rantanen line. Sorry, he's got a itchy nose there. Go Rantanen line. Are we going to use that as the whole like, look at this, run that he had? This is like an ESPN 30 for 30 document
Yeah.
we're watching here
Yeah.
live, bro. Like we're watching like the Rantanen files, like you trade a superstar mid-season, he ends up going to this team, boom, that doesn't work. Boom, flash, he can't re-sign. Where does he end up? Right back in his own conference to say, I'm going to stick it right up your fart box, Colorado. And
Yeah.
boy, did he ever. I
Oh,
don't think
yeah.
I've seen a player come out with a vengeance with piss and vinegar on their fucking stick
Yeah.
like Rantanen did in a long time.
That
Like,
first or
there's a
second.
difference when you're like, okay, guys open up a series, game one, they're buzzing their first couple shifts, whatever. I've seen it. McDavid does it all the time.
Yeah.
There was something about, and I'm watching this at, call it 10:30 at night. And I'm like, I went to bed and I'm like, okay, I'm feeling tired. I'm throw the third period on. What is it? A minute in, Rantanen's buzzing. And I just remember thinking, I'm like, something special's happening here. When you just get that feeling when you're like, I gotta watch this. Right? Rantanen comes out, boom, throws that fucking puck in front of the net, bounced off the guy's skate. You're like, oh, something's happening. And then he just kept going and going every time he was on the ice. Wild to say the least. Just incredible. I completely downplayed Rantanen on the Stars again. I didn't think, and you know what? This is why this is why and this is why so many players around the league are so special. Those elite players, they can earn that $70 million contract, whatever he got, fucking $80 million
Yeah.
contract or whatever, in 9 minutes, 10
Yeah.
minutes of gameplay.
Yep.
Just like that. Nobody is ever going to question Rantanen ever again because of what
How?
he did in 10 minutes of a game 7 in a perfect sequence, a perfect storyline, if you will.
Yeah.
Everything worked in the favor. But again, like, you're looking at it from Colorado's perspective and you're like, it wasn't the players that wanted this.
No.
Through that handshake line, do you see how many players on Colorado were enlightened for him?
Yeah.
Colorado was
100%.
so happy for Rantanen. It was
Yep.
the weirdest handshake line I've seen in quite some time because they knew single-handedly that they wish that guy was still on their team. They knew that he was such an important piece, and you could see it in the handshake line, that hug between McKinnon and him, that smirk between Makar and them before they did it. They're like, dude, why this is insane. We should be doing this together right now. The fact that they weren't is insano. It is Captain Insano. And
What a
I will
big
tell you what,
FU. What a
Dallas
big
is showing
FU.
no mercy.
What a big FU to Colorado management, though, just to sink your season in 9 minutes by the guy you got rid of.
Yeah,
It's
and so
crazy.
here we go. So just to carry out again. So stats again. So just high sky numbers here. Goals in this series: 24 scored by Colorado, 21 scored by Dallas, 19 goals against Blackwood of the 21, 20 of the 24 against Ottinger. So they had a lot more empty netters. So again, close series, man. Very close series. Some of those games, the 7-4 game, I think they had 2 empty netters, right? Like those very close games. What did I have here? Okay, so special teams points. Stars, 30.4% on the power play. Almost 1 every 3. That's very, very good. 86.4% on the PK, 116.8% combined special teams points. Again, we're going to get there. Leading scorer of this series, as we talked about it was Big Moose there, the big man, Rantanen, 5 goals, 7 assists, including a 4-point night in Game 7 when the stars were shining brightest, no pun intended. Rantanen showed up the best, 12 points in 7 games, was an absolute stallion in the series. I noticed him arguably one of the better players in at least close to 4 or 5 of the games. And my last point here, and my most important point, second last point here, super quick. McKinnon, his comment, and you pointed it out, his words, not mine. Dallas, so they, as in Dallas, didn't have their best defenseman or arguably their best forward, and we still lost. That was McKinnon, word for word. Now, I should have double checked on this, and I'm really, really sorry if I'm wrong. McKinnon is now 0-7 in game 7s.
He is 0 something. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
0-7, I'm pretty sure, in game 7s. Does it affect his legacy? Let's have that conversation, maybe a different point. But does that affect McKinnon's legacy, guys? Think about this. First 6 years, 7 years in the league, we didn't think of him as Nathan McKinnon, the superstar. He was Nathan McKinnon, the really good hockey player in Colorado. And then he skyrocketed those 3-4 seasons. He's like, okay, boom, I'm a 90-plus point guy. Now I'm a 100-point guy. Now I'm a Stanley Cup winner. Now I'm an Art Ross. And he's been climbing. And then when we kind of sit back and forget, they haven't done too much, arguably. They've won their series. They've done whatever. 0-7 when it matters most. That was an interesting one for me. Very, very interesting. And my last point, because I'll let you finish. This is, for me, the most important thing. And I love this so much. I really wanted to highlight it. I have such a huge respect for Gabriel Landeskog. Holy shit. I loved the player before, and I love him even more now. Get this, dude. 3 years of an injury, didn't play. He comes back, 7 pro games this season, 6 points in 5 NHL games, and it's the playoffs, albeit a lot harder to produce. Landeskog, dude, 4 points in 5 playoff games. He's only played 7 pro games this series. Are you kidding me? Your captain comes back, puts his heart on the sleeve to come back for the boys, and he comes back and does that. Like,
Yeah.
fucking what a captain. What a fucking captain. That is amazing because not only does it just instill hope for the team in the future, it gives him that much more reason to try harder this summer to again be ready. Because you know how
Yeah.
much it put for him energy wise to be ready for playoffs? He must have been struggling and battling so hard every day, pushing his body to be ready. I bet you him showing and him getting rewarded is going to get him to be ready again for game one just as much as he was for that.
Yep.
I fucking love it. Honestly, dude, I nothing is better than that. Colorado, Gabriel Landeskog, you win my favorite player of the first round. For
Yeah.
no doubt. Anything else
Yeah.
on Dallas, Colorado in particular?
No, not for me. I just want to jump on your point with Landeskog. It is a really good story. I think we all thought we don't know if he's gonna ever play again. Just the injuries, pile on injuries with his leg, and it is a very cool and amazing storyline to see him come back and suit up and even put up the points like you mentioned, which is amazing. Kind of almost reminds me of like Klay Thompson coming back for Golden State after 2 years of not playing and
Mm-hmm.
starting to find his groove. But um, I would like to say for Landeskog's sake, it's a lot more toll on your body when you're playing, especially playoff hockey. So a huge kudos as well. Like it's just amazing to see him come back. It's great for hockey, great for the Colorado Avalanche organization to have your captain back. So that was really awesome.
Oh, fucking right. I wonder too if it gives them an even bigger reason to go for it again next year. Put all the chips
Yeah,
in again, draft picks, you name it, whatever. They threw it out the line this year. Charlie Coyle, a couple of those other guys, they're probably gonna walk. But hey, Winnipeg, St. Louis. Let's move on here.
yeah,
Holy shit! Again, what a freaking game seven. We are
yeah,
being so spoiled here, dude. It's phenomenal. My points, my checklist here, and then you're gonna tackle this is Winnipeg was humbled after winning those first two games, man. And I really do believe that was the best possible thing for them. If they went in and ran show like 4-1 or something over St. Louis, I whether it be close games or blowouts, I really don't think that would have been good for them, mainly
yeah,
due to the fact that they have not had playoff success. They
yeah.
were able to deal with the adversity and then still win. Sound familiar from a team up the street here? Yes, yes, it does. They battled adversity and they won because they were supposed to, right? That's the difference. But again, here, home ice advantage, massive. Every single game was won by the home team.
Yep, yep.
4-3, 4 wins, Winnipeg at home, 3 wins, St. Louis at home. Home ice ain't important, you say? Really? Are you sure about that?
You
Are you
sure
sure
about
about
that?
that? Right? So, I mean, here
Crazy.
we go too. Shifley, Morris, he just got injured. He played 2 minutes of the game last. That's not good
Yeah, I
for
saw
them.
that.
Ehlers injured. I'm a little bit nervous about them going into a heavy Dallas team, man. They Jamie Benn coming and running you, Marchment coming in and running you. You got a couple of those guys with speedy young skill that are chasing you down and get like they are not an easy team to play
Yeah,
against. Might be getting Heiskanen back, might be getting Robertson back soon too. But again, to not to sway away from Minnesota, from Winnipeg, excuse me. Stat lines: 21 goals Winnipeg scored. Get this: 27 goals St. Louis. Get this: of those 27 goals that St. Louis scored, 26 goals against Hellebuck in 7 games. Of the 21 goals against Winnipeg's, Binnington led in 19. 19
wow.
goals in 7 games for Binnington, dude. Phenomenal. And he played phenomenal, dude. Some of those
Yeah, he
saves
played
last night.
so good.
I was texting you. I'm like, I still think the
Yeah,
Blues are going to win this. Binnington's just he just was giving them so much confidence. And I'm like, okay, Blues, that was your second chance. Oh, that was your third chance to score. That was your fourth chance to score in overtime. When it
yeah,
got, I got to admit, I fell asleep during like a little bit during the second overtime. But I said in the back of my head, I'm like, I counted 4 grade A or at least B plus chances for St. Louis to score in the overtime. 2 of them, they didn't even hit the net. 2 of them, I think Hellebuck didn't even get challenged that much. So you just knew it kind of had to be over. 2 seconds left. They score 2 goals in under, 2 minutes or whatever. Holy shnikes, as I say. What a wicked thing to see. Huge for Hockey Canada, Canadian sports teams, Canadian sports in general. It's obviously exciting moments, but again, very, very quickly, leading scorer, Kyle Connor, 4 goals, 8 assists, 12 points in 7 games.
That's a
He was
quiet 12.
he was one of those guys where if you're in Winnipeg area, you see Twitter and you hear about hockey all the time. He's one of those guys, much similar to like your Nylanders and Matthews. He gets criticized very, very hard, much like Hellebuck does when it comes playoff time. And he stuck it to them too. Stat line, special teams, power play, Winnipeg, 22.7%, not great. 76.9%, not great. 99.6%. Not great.
No. Well,
yeah, a little bit of a thumbs down on that one. But here's the thing. Ask yourself, is it A, they didn't play well and they still won, or they didn't play well? And I would be concerned that if that continues and they play a little bit of a superior team, in my opinion, that ain't going to do so well for them. What's your take? Go ahead. Winnipeg on that one.
Yeah, no. This was a series I think a lot of people watched. Multiple reasons. One, when you're ever playing against the President's Cup team or President's Trophy, I'm thinking golf, Jesus. There's always that curse kind of behind it. So you're kind of like, are these guys going to find a way out of the first round? They're going to move on. Second one was Connor Hellebuck, his playoff numbers. And we've talked about this in previous podcasts. We've talked about this, face to face over text, like his numbers in big moments and especially playoffs are not very good. And come to our surprise again, the guy is nominated for an MVP. He had an incredible season, 47 wins, 12 losses. I think he was around a 2.00 goals against, and I don't know what a save percentage, but over probably 9-2 something. Like, he had an incredible year. It's just not translating into big playoff games. And every away game, he was pulled. Every game on the road, he was pulled. That's crazy to me, especially with a goalie of that caliber. I had St. Louis in 7. I think a lot of people thought it was a little far-fetched, but it came down to 1 fucking second on the clock. I would have had it. But the Blues played very well. A lot of people counted them out, obviously, with a high-caliber team like the Jets. I thought Braden Shen looked very effective out there. It was kind of funny, though, that the storyline never really came up to Luke versus Braden. The brothers played each other. I felt like it wasn't very mentioned like much at all on TV. But it's a nice little rivalry, especially for the parents, like when they're sitting in the crowd going like, I don't know how do you cheer for who, but you're just cheering for a good hockey game. But they were very effective, I thought, overall. St. Louis, well coached under Monty. I think a lot of people don't remember Monty led the Bruins to a 62-game regular season. So, and they've Claude Julien as their assistant. Like, they've got a good 1-2 punch as coaching. And in a lot of games, they outcoached the Jets. And you got to give them credit where it's led. They were the hottest team going into the playoffs, 12 straight wins. And I think it was a successful year for them. And they got a lot of young talent with Kyrou and Thomas leading the way, 2 very extraordinary hockey players that can still take that next step in their game. So obviously kudos to the Jets to move on. They're going to play Dallas. Good luck. And hopefully St. Louis can turn around next year and make a real good push.
Yeah. Only thing I want to add is I hope that Broberg and Holloway enjoy their golfing while the Oilers continue on in their second round. Moving on to the Eastern Conference here. not as exciting. Maybe we blow by these couple series here a little bit quicker. Don't mean in a disrespectful way, but I think we're a little bit more excited about talking about one specific series here. So as we do, let's just breeze through this one a little bit quicker. Just the same amount of time as Carolina took to win 4-1 over New Jersey. It felt like the Carolina won this series in 3. It was never really that close. I truly believe the one, because I did watch most of this series actually, because they always stuck these games at the terrible time slots. Um, it was pure domination, dude. I don't even know what
Yeah.
else to say. And hey, don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. Here, New Jersey's key injuries proved to be a very, very detrimental factor here. There's no doubt about that. Like, they just didn't have the depth to keep up. But
Yep.
here's the thing: they don't have the same depth. That sucks, sure. If you don't have the same like scoring power and star power, you're screwed. Losing Jack Hughes, that sucks. Losing Luke Hughes, that's terrible. They had injuries to the back end. Brendan Dillon,
Yeah.
I think, was also injured early in the first game
Yep.
too. It's like, are you kidding? They didn't have any luck going for them their way. I thought that Timo Meyer played really well for the New Jersey. I thought that he kind of stood out in my sense. I've really disliked the contract, and his fit with New Jersey's always felt weird. But again,
Yeah.
playoffs, right? That's why we always say it. But here's the thing, man. Carolina's special teams, they were damn near perfect, dude. Get this. Carolina was 31.6% on the power play, almost one every 3, 100% on the PK.
Oh.
Zero, zero goals allowed on the PK. 100%. If you do the math, 131.6% on your special teams.
Rod the
That is
bod, baby.
astronomical numbers.
That's fucking, it's
131%
fucking
combined
crazy.
on your special teams.
That's crazy.
Fantastic. Rod the bod, you've got it going on. I'll tell you that. You know what you're doing. Leading scorer of the series, Sebastian Aho, showed up when it matters most. Sneaky, underrated player. Love that guy. 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points in 5 games. How you
Good for
doing?
him.
And I believe, if I'm correct there, I do believe one of those goals was a shorthanded goal. What he does best. Him, Aho, and Heischer. Just love those two on the defensive side of the game there.
Yep.
Sneaky Selke Award winners for the next couple of years to look at. Obviously not this season, but hey, give me your
Yep.
take. Carolina over New Jersey. Again, I want to go further into detail. There isn't too much that I wanted to highlight other than the fact that Carolina looks extremely deep. Their special teams are cooking for right now for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're playing with confidence. Freddie Anderson looked good in that too. I think their whole team looks good.
Yep. No, I agree. I think you hit it right on the knob. I think a lot of people thought this was going to be a quick series, and pretty well was 5 games. I think I took that. I think we both maybe have took Carolina in 5. They're just well rounded, very defensive team, and another guy to mention would be Jakob Slavin, just so good in his own end. So just controls the puck, sees the ice well. Like, he just has a great 200-foot game, and it makes a huge difference, especially New Jersey was missing Jack Hughes and the other injuries we were kind of talking about as well, and it's really hard to play a series when you don't have a lot of your star players, and when you're already lopsided against a team like Carolina, it's going to be hard to kind of get out of there. So you're just going to have to play as best you can in the series, and unfortunately for the Devils, it wasn't enough, and we'll see us next year.
That's right. Like I said, I don't think there's too much to go off on that. It wasn't much of a series in terms of close. Another one that felt maybe wasn't close, but certainly seemed a little bit closer. Washington winning 4-1 over Montreal.
Yep.
Just felt like Montreal was just not ready for that moment.
Yeah.
A lot of their young kids came in, and I thought they played well. It just didn't seem like they knew what to expect and how to deal with the emotions at certain times.
Yep.
Much similar to what Ottawa dealt with, in which I'm going to explain. I think what happened there, but the veterans stepped it up for the Capitals, man. They just let that game come to them. They dictated the game, right? They were comfortable playing in all situations. They didn't have to really do anything sexy and crazy. They won with physicality. They won with simple structure. They won with good goaltending. That always needs to be. But
Mm-hmm.
their big players stepped up too. Ovi, first career overtime goal in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Scoring
what?
what he scored 3-4 goals like during that too, like
Yeah.
nasty. But leading scorer of the series, Ryan Strome, 2 goals,
You
7
mean Dylan?
assists, 9 points in
Dylan
5
Strome.
games. That's phenomenal, right?
Hey, Dylan Strome, not Ryan.
Sorry.
He said Ryan Strome.
Ryan Strom. Oh yeah, right. Did
Dylan.
I? Did I actually?
Yeah.
Dylan Strom. Sorry, Ryan Strom was
Ryan called up from the
Oilers
Ducks to
legend.
play, and
Oilers legend. Ryan Strom. Excuse me. Dylan Strom. You're
yeah.
good catch. Good catch, Nazi. My bad, Dylan Strom. You're very much right. Um, um, put on a phenomenal performance. But I was
Yeah.
gonna say like just the physicality was a difference maker. But stats wise, 19 goals scored by Washington, only 12 scored by
Ooh.
Montreal in 5 games. Not going to cut it. Thompson allowed 11 goals against Montreal. Goalies split between Montembeault and Dobes, or however you pronounce it, 14 goals against. So again, Thompson only let in 11 goals in 5 games. That's you're not going to
Pretty damn
win
good.
many games if you're or a series, I should say, if you're only scoring less than 2 goals a game. Again, Washington, here we go. 23.1% on the power play and only 66.7 on the PK. 89.8% special teams. Not the best.
Yeah. No, you make a really good point. I think Montreal's still a really young team, and obviously it kind of shows for it. But you know what? It's the experience that's going to matter for these guys. They're still very young. There's lots of time left to make more runs in the playoffs. Well coached by Marty.
I agree.
I hope he gets nominated for Coach of the Year. I think he may have. Did he get it?
I honestly would like to double check on
I
that,
would like to double
fact
check that
check it.
too. I really hope so. Like, a lot of people didn't even have Montreal even like in the playoffs. But then you're bringing in guys like Ivan Demidov over from the K, a kid that has so much potential, so much room to be a star in this league. Nick Suzuki, for sure, for me, took a massive step in his game as well, on and off the ice as a leader. Cole Caulfield almost caught 40 this year. Lane Hudson was unreal this year and should win the Calder, like we mentioned in the last podcast. They have a well-rounded team, and they look to have these cornerstones that could really build this team. And I like I said to on who did I say to who we just talked about St. Louis. It was another successful team season for Montreal, and kudos to the Caps. They've had a really good year. Obviously, a lot of momentum driving off Ovi's historic season, and we'll see what happens moving on to the next round. But bands make a dance. Bands make a dance. They're gonna keep going.
I don't
Chikrin,
know.
baby.
I'm not buying it right now with Washington when they show me that 89.8% combined. Like you don't want to be throwing up a 66.7% against
Yeah.
Carolina.
No.
They're gonna make you.
No.
They're gonna make you eat it. Like so.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Jumping out though. Tough one for you. Tampa, dude. Like I didn't
Dude.
know this, but they came out and they were basically like, yeah, we're basically playing 6 guys that are almost dead. If they stop breathing, put in other guys. But dude, so injured. They just were the decider, in my opinion, man. I mean, like their biggest players. I mean, broken foot for Hedman, AC joint for Cirelli. I think Kucherov, I think, took a slap shot or something in game
To the
1.
wrist.
Probably has a couple of carpals broken in the hand too. Like just a lot of bad issues that happened for them there. They were never winning that series with that health. It's just unfortunate. Vasilevsky would have had to be, way above and beyond of what he was. And
Yeah.
I didn't even think he was that bad personally. Touch on that. 19 goals in the series for Florida, only 12, dude, for
I
Tampa.
know.
Similar to Montreal, just couldn't score. But
They
again, you
couldn't
look
get
at
it.
who was injured. Like Cooch was injured, Cirelli was injured, Bjorkstrand was injured. Like, what are you gonna do? It's really, really tough. Gord was injured, I think, at one point too.
Fucking Hagel was injured.
Bobrovsky only let in 11 goals, man.
That's it.
1 goal against on the empty netter, so 11 goals in the series for Bobrovsky. That's not good news for Toronto. And then
No.
Vasilevsky, dude, 16 goals in 5 games, so 3 goals against for Vasilevsky. So a little bit
Yeah.
unlike him. Certainly can understand now why those numbers may have been a bit more, inflated, but my stats before I'll let you tackle this. Leading scorer Sam Reinhart, I don't know what the old hairpiece fell out there. Put the wig back in. Leading scorer Reinhart, 2 goals, 4 assists, 6 points in 5 games. Nothing crazy. But
Yeah.
here's the thing: you go look at down Florida's lineup. They had about 3 or 4 guys that topped 3 points in the 5
Yeah, it's
games.
crazy.
So good depth scoring again,
Yep.
right? 25% power play, 88.9% PK, 113.9% on the special teams. Remember that number because this is really exciting when we talk about the next series.
Yeah, it sucks seeing the injury report at the end of the year, knowing that this is a huge reason why they lost the series. I hate giving kudos to Florida. I fucking hate their guts. Ekblad's a scumbag, so is Kachuk. Fucking just the shit that went on that series, and I'll tip my cap. Hagel did the same shit. He laid out Barkov. But I thought maybe the payback was Kachuk on Gensel, and clearly not the case. Apparently, you can armbar Hagel in the face and crack his head open on the ice, basically, and get no call. Yeah, they got the 2-game suspension, which was, I think, the right call. But
But no call
yeah,
on the ice. No call on
yeah,
the ice is what bugged
zero
me.
call. Fucking horseshit.
Didn't like
Anyways,
that.
crazy enough, Hagel's like basically said it was a dirty hit, but he's like, I don't have a bad memory. So, game 1, they play each other next year. Hagel's like, I don't even care if I get my ass beat. I'm gonna stand to the bell. And I'm like, I love that about that guy. He's fucking at a
Yeah, well,
sick year.
don't forget, it may not be against Florida.
Who
Ekblad, he may not be playing for Florida next year.
is he on a contract here?
Just them bringing in Seth Jones this year kind of, for me
Oh,
personally, made it think I
yeah.
wonder. But let's have that conversation for another
Yeah, well,
day.
that's another one.
Is there
Overall,
anything else in particular on Tampa, Florida that you wanted to graze over? There's a lot that I missed, and I don't want to do it
yeah,
like that. But realistically, it just felt to me watching that game, you could just see there was something up. Tampa couldn't just, they'd have a
yeah.
flow and they couldn't just keep attacking, keep attacking, keep attacking. It'd be like, okay, we're gonna go, and then it was like Florida would just go boom, 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 and then they'd have one, and Florida go boom, boom, boom. It was just a smothering.
Yeah, it was just tough. Hopefully they come back next year, play the same, just to be healthy, and hopefully maybe get someone other than fucking Florida for once. Like, it just sucks because like there's all the rumors going around about Cooper being like, is this his last year? They were linking him maybe to Vancouver because that's where he's from. Why not go out in Vancouver, play a couple years, retire there? But he is confirmed to come back next year, which is great. But his contract's up at the end of next year, so if they don't get it done next year, I just don't see the extension happening, unfortunately, and it sucks
Yeah.
because John Cooper is one of, if not the best coach in the league, and his resume shows for it. So we'll see. We'll see what that happens down the road, but hopefully he stays with the boys. I love Coop.
Yeah. No doubt. You want a guy like that to stick around for as long as you possibly can, for sure. Um, talking about sticking around. Well, we're here, everybody. Congratulations for making it this far. The Leafs did it. They sure did it. They didn't do it easy, but they sure did it, didn't they? The Leafs
Yep.
have won 4-2 over the Ottawa Senators, and let me tell you, congrats, Leaf fans. You
Yeah.
guys did it. You got your win. You got another win in that first round. We did it, holding strong here. I had Sens in 7. Everybody laughed at me. Oh, the Leafs are up. The Leafs are gonna dominate the whole series. It's not even gonna be close. Blah 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 blah
The
blah blah.
comments on the Instagram.
I love it.
Healy
Everybody,
must be those ice bats that are fucking with your brain.
everybody knows, all right, why I picked the other team. It ain't because I didn't think they were gonna win. Here's the deal: Ottawa played that series about as poorly as you could have ever asked for them to play that series.
Yeah.
Kudos to the Leafs, though, because I'll give them credit. For those 6 games, the Leafs were the better team for about 5.5 games. They truly were. They dominated the series. Ottawa just couldn't. I just don't think they could press the Leafs in those games the way that the Leafs were pressing them. They couldn't
Yeah.
buy into Leafs hockey because if you do, they were going to get smoked 15-5 every game. But here's the thing, they just couldn't get their confidence, right? They just
Yep.
couldn't figure out what was going on. And what I found is they just couldn't find the balance of being under or not aggressive enough and being too aggressive. In those first 2 or 3 games, they were too aggressive. They were taking crappy penalties. They weren't staying smart. The Leafs
Yeah.
dominated because they were getting 3-4 power plays a game. They're scoring 2 of them a game, right? They just couldn't figure it out. And then you got to think too. Okay, yeah, the Leafs won 2 games in overtime. Um, the Sens won one. You got to think of it. If the Sens had just won one of those and it went the other way, you would have been talking Game 7 here. Like they had 3
Yeah.
overtime games in this series. It wasn't like it wasn't close. But the 5-on-5 play would say otherwise. And even in Game 4, like Dylan Cousins scored with 8 minutes left, short-handed too to
Yeah. The
go up.
shorty.
So they could have went 4-0, sure. But here's the thing: that series could have certainly gone to Game 7, and that's a bit of a question mark for me when I'm talking Leafs for the rest of it. But again, here, so my big keys of this: Stolarz is the safety net. The Leafs
Yep.
go as far as he can take them right now.
Yep.
Will he be able to outpay Bobrovsky? And as I wrote here, take him off the crease or the case. Take him off the case,
Talk about the
Bobrovsky.
case, Bobrovsky.
Stolarz is the most important player for the Toronto Maple Leafs for the rest of this. Number 2 most important player moving forward, Chris Tanev. If you
Mm-hmm.
can keep those two at playing the
Yeah.
best hockey that they possibly can right now, they're going to give your team a chance because they provide wonders beyond what they do on the ice. All
Yeah.
right. They are leaders. They provide leadership. They show what they need to do. They make sure people are held accountable and they want to win. And they have
Yep.
won. Stolar's a champ. Tanev has been very successful in his career and is a very blue nose, hard nosed hockey player.
Yeah.
I'll let you take it away, but here we go with the numbers. 19 goals scored for Toronto, 16 for Ottawa. Allmark allowed 18 goals. Stolarz only 14 in 6
Wow.
games. 14 goals in 6 games, dude. Very impressive. Leading scorer
Yeah.
of the series, Willie Nylander, 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points in 6 games. Leafs were 35% on the power play and 80% PK, 115%. So
Wow.
cap that right there. I got a really cool little exercise to show after we finish this 2 seconds here for now.
Yeah.
Then we'll wrap up. But I wanted to show, just in case everyone is still wondering what the percentages are and why, I'm going to show you in a sec, but just cap off that real quick for you.
Yeah. No, it was a well fought series. I think a couple question marks is how Toronto can close out a series, and I think that's been a battle for Christ, I don't know how many years now. When we got into Game 4, you could really see it, or see it to see if they could, take them out, sweep them, get them done, move on. Couldn't get it done. Couldn't get it done in Game 5. Now people are getting worried because you're starting to blow games, and Ottawa's now building that momentum. Like, hey, we can win these games. Why can't we do this? Claude Giroux is on the team in 2010 that did the reverse sweep and got it done. So he's been pumping the boys in the locker room saying we can do this.
He didn't do
So
much, eh?
I really think if the Leafs lost Game 6, I really don't know if they would have won Game 7. I really don't think so. It would have been tough.
I still do think they would have won.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah,
Um,
regardless, but it would have been, you never know.
the momentum swinger was crazy. But Ottawa, a lot of those guys, a lot of their star players, a lot of their leadership are new to playoffs. Brady Tkachuk, first time in playoffs. So these guys are going to learn and grow and understand how playoffs work, how much is, required to win series. So it's a first for a lot of these guys, but it's going to be growing pains. Obviously, you're not going to look at Ovi. It took him 12 years to win a cup. Playoffs aren't supposed to be easy. It's going to roughen up your body. You've already played 82 games in the regular season. There's a lot to put into it. So we'll give them another go maybe next year if they do crack playoffs, but they'll have at least a little bit of experience on kind of what it takes to win games in playoffs. So
Love it. Yeah, man. We're gonna see. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Obviously, that starts tonight. Series 2, but yeah, it's kudos, man. I know I give the Leafs a lot of shit. They finally played a series the way that they should have. I will admit they played a
Yeah.
series the way they should have. Should they have closed the series in probably 5? Yes, I do think that. I think that they're going to learn, and I do think that they're going to use that moving forward. Recap first round picks here, okay? So I'll give you yours. You did phenomenal, my guy. You were very, very good. You were accurate on who you picked, and you were accurate on the numbers of games, too. Leafs in
Thanks,
6. You
buddy.
were correct on both. Caps in 6. You won the Caps. Canes in 5. That was correct in 5 as well. Picked Tampa in 7. We know Florida won that one. You had Oilers in 7. Oil won in 6. You had Knights in 6. That was correct on both.
Woo!
Stars in 6. You were wrong on just game 7. You had the winner again. Blues in 7. 1
1
second away
second.
from that. Very,
Fuck.
very well done. I was Sens in 7, as we all know, slogan it up. Shoulda, coulda happened. Everyone still chirped me about it. That series was way closer than it should have been. Habs in 6, boy, was I wrong. Canes in 5. That was bang on for name and number. Tampa in 5. Boy, was I wrong. Had that one in the reverse oppo taco on that one. I had Oil in 6. That was double right. Knights in 6, double right. I had Avs in 6. I really thought they were going to play better. They lost, and they lost in 7. And of course, I had the Jets in 5. Boy, oh boy, was that looking good after 2. Ask LA Kings fans what it's like to be up 2-0. Oil, go baby. Anyway, sorry, I just had to throw that one in there because I gotta get jabs in when I can. Here we go. This is the most important thing, and this is why everyone's stuck around for it. Special teams percentage points. Why do I keep talking about that? Why do I think that's important? Well, if you look at the matchups upcoming this particular playoff series, you have Toronto versus Florida. You have Carolina versus Washington. You have Dallas versus Winnipeg, and you have Vegas versus Edmonton. Why is that important? Who has the advantage? Toronto Maple Leafs series. Toronto has the advantage. They are plus 1.1% on Florida. That is as close as you
Whoa.
are going to get. We are due for a
Wow.
very good series in this one. I'm banking on it.
Wow.
Carolina plus 41.8% on Washington right now. If Washington's PK does not step up, it will be, again, a very, very short series. Dallas plus 17.2% over Winnipeg, and Vegas plus 6.2 over Edmonton. So again, a close series in Edmonton,
Yep.
Vegas. So without further ado, as you guys nibble on those numbers, probably backtrack and maybe hit the old rewind, because you're like, what did he say? Boy, the Leafs are that. And yeah, they're that close. The Leafs are going to make this a series. I'm telling you. Here we go. Round 2 predictions. I'll lead the way here. I'm taking Carolina to beat Washington in 5. Game over 5. Thanks for coming out, Ovi. We've had
Thanks,
your
Ovi.
year. You guys are done in 5.
Yeah.
I'm taking Dallas to win in 6.
Yep.
I think Winnipeg gives them a go. I think the injuries are a difference. I think Ottinger is the difference in that series. I'm taking the Edmonton Oilers, baby, in 6 games to take home the revenge over the Golden Knights. 6 games. See you in game 4, folks. Hopefully it's an Oil and 4 sweep. I'll get to see the boys win it. And as you guys know, I got one last series to pick between Florida and Toronto. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs win in 6. Fuck the Cats.
Yeah, honestly, fuck them. But wow, I never would have thought you would have picked the Leafs.
It's on record now, folks. Ain't
Ooh,
going back.
diggity dog.
All right. And Luke, to close out
Okay.
this podcast, round 2
Canes
predictions.
and Caps. I got the Canes in 6. I think the Caps will put up a little more of a fight, but the Canes are going to get it done. They'll be in the 3rd round. I have Dallas in 6 as well. I think it's going to be a goaltending duel. This is another chance for Hellebuck to kind of figure himself out, but I think he's going to get out-dueled by Ottinger, and I think Dallas is gonna get that done in 6. Gonna hate me, but I think I look at the overall picture. I've been picking with my head rather than my heart. I do have Vegas in 6. I think
You have the
goaltending
Knights in
is a
6?
big part. I think goaltending's gonna be a big part. And I don't know how long Calvin Pickard can hold it up. As much as I want the Oilers to win, I'm picking with my head around here for these ones. And yeah, I got Vegas in 6. Sorry, buddy. And then the last one, I have Florida in 5. Every Leafs fan's gonna hate my guts. I picking with my head because I don't think the Leafs
As
have a
if we
chance.
flip-flopped. As if we
Holy
flip-flopped.
shit. I really don't think they do. They're not going to find answers. Florida is so well rounded. They won the cup last year. They know what it takes. They are physical. They are going to beat the shit out of the Leafs. And unfortunately, I think Florida is going to have answers for everything. And like if you look top to bottom, I want the Leafs to win. Don't get me wrong, Leafs fans. I would love it. I'm picking with my head, and I'm taking the experience, and I really think Florida's going to duel them, and it's going to show. So hopefully I'm wrong, but Florida's going to, I think, dominate.
There you have it, folks. And just like that, round 2 predictions in the book. We get to watch 3 Canadian teams in the second round.
Yeah, that's
and
pretty
they
sweet.
aren't playing each other either. So we get to hope that one, at least, if not 2, maybe proceed into the next round. That would be phenomenal. Maybe all 3. But hey, without further ado, everybody, go watch your hockey, eat your
Go watch
snacks,
hockey.
and maybe go for a walk while we're at it between intermissions.
Yeah.
And with that, everybody, it's been another edition of the Soft Dump in the Corner podcast, presented to you by Toronto's best media outlet, North 6 Sports.
Woo!
Go Oil, go. Go Leafs, go, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Tampa's golfing. Boys are buzzing. This is some of the best playoff hockey I've seen in a while. Thank you, Gabriel Landeskog, for giving a lot of people hope, and you earn the respect of everybody in the NHL. Kudos to you. Have a good off season. Work hard. Have fun. Everybody enjoy the rest of the playoffs.
Let's go watch that hockey. Go do that hockey.
Let's do that hockey.
Woo!
Peace.